It was long time ago when the first healers, learning by tests and mistakes the mysteries of healing and expulsion of terrible disease in their patients, find out that the human body is the crowning creation of nature, and at the same time it is extremely fragile and unclear created body. A harmless abrasion for some people became a terrible wound for others, an imperceptible injury for someone dispersed unnoticed, but another person would have serious consequences. Some attributed this to mysterious spirits, others to corporal health given from ancestors. The third attributed this to potent force which strengthened the human body. It was believed for several centuries that bones and spine could not be cured. If some illness happened to them, you could only alleviate the suffering by the outside treatment, but not to cure the disease. Medical discoveries have questioned those allegations, and the 20th century has totally destroyed them. Already 75 years, such research has been successfully realized in our country at the Research Institute of Orthopedics and Traumatology. On the basis of the institution were established Republican centers for patients with spine and spinal cord damages, complications, cuts and paralysis of limbs and dysfunctions of the pelvic organs, joint replacement, arthroscopy, sports injuries and joint pathology. Their work has become fundamental to the research and training on its use. Injuries and illness with or without a construction of spinal cord, pathology of important joints, the use of arthroscopic microsurgery of joints, hip and knee joints replacement, bone tumors. Today, Belarusian Research Institute of Traumatology and Orthopedics is the largest Republican research and clinical center which is intended to develop a new and introduce a modern diagnostic and surgical technologies in the field of orthopedics and traumatology. Every year, over 3,500 complex operations in the spine with injuries and diseases, hip and knee joints replacement, arthroscopic operations, triple pelvis osteotomy and other reconstructive interventions at hip joint, operations in cases of funnel-shaped deformations of thorax, all types of bones osteosynthesis are realized at the Institute. Approximately 18,000 patients from our republic consult at this center. The diagnostic process is carried out on the modern X-ray and ultrasonic equipment, computer tomography and MRI. Such kinds of surgical treatment as endoscopic microsurgery joints, including joint plastic and cartilage transplantation, hip replacement and revision hip replacement, correction of thorax deformities and spine scoliosis in children, reconstructive operation in cases of skeletal bone tumor, reduction surgeries with severe injuries and spine diseases take place only at this institute. The main directions of research and practical work of this institute are the development and the introduction of new methods of diagnosing and treating the entire spectrum of orthopedic trauma and pathology among children and adolescents, treating joints, diagnosis and treatment of patients with spine and spinal cord damages, joints and bone tumors. Over the past 5 years, 14 patents for inventions are received and 12 applications for a patent are given. Results of developments and the latest discoveries, materials of scientific conferences and congresses have received more than 260 leading publications, including monographs and journals, not only in our country but also abroad. Belarusian Research Institute of Orthopedics and Traumatology is leading organization and executor of scientific and technical state program named Surgery. This program assisted with the development of new methods of diagnosis and treatment and also provided the different types of equipment. The production of import substitute and medical products for osteosynthesis of fractures and spine fracture are established. The diagnostic and surgical treatment of diseases and spine deformities are realized at the laboratory of the spine injuries and the effects of the spinal cord. The structure of the institution consists of 7 departments. The Laboratory of Joint Pathology and Sport Injury realizes the diagnosis and treatment of injuries and diseases of important joints, arthroscopy, shark cartilage transplantation of cells, hip joints replacement. The Laboratory of Clinical Morphology specializes in the diagnosis of tumors and tumor-like diseases of musculoskeletal system. The Laboratory of Clinical Electrophysiology realizes a diagnosis of electrophysiological and vascular dysfunctions of the musculoskeletal system. Among the most important functions of the institute are organizational and methodical work in the country, aimed at strengthening and developing trauma orthopedic service. The main component of this service is the training of specialists for the Republic in clinical internship, preparing normative documents and orders governing the introduction of new methods of diagnosis and treatment, development of guarantees of a high level of modern therapeutic process in the Republic clinics. The Institute constantly develops and implements high diagnostic and therapeutic technologies which give a possibility to reduce the effects of trauma, disability and diseases and minimize the social effects of pathology in accordance with the best international standards. A timely prevention helps to reduce the duration of a diagnostic process. Much attention is paid to researches in the Institute. The Council, specialized in protection of doctoral theses and postgraduate studies, successfully operates. Today everybody knows about the discoveries, developments and the latest methodologies of the Institute. Today, Belarusian Research Institute of Orthopedics and Traumatology has modern technologies, the latest equipment and highly qualified personnel. It means that injuries, fractures, displacements, tumors of the musculoskeletal system became nothing more than unfortunate misunderstanding, which can be easily remedied. Healthy human skeleton is the principal pledge of our life and vital activity, the basis of the life. And the Belarusian Research Institute of Orthopedics and Traumatology can give this vital foundation to everyone.